Okay, I'm going to tonight talk about my recent hospital visit um, I had last month, and it was against my consent. Someone, it may have been one of my neighbors, or it may have been my sister. She said it wasn't her, so it was most likely one of my neighbors who contacted the town screener to come over around lunchtime, around the time my sister was off from work on a weekend, and invite themselves over with three police officers to ask me about whether or not I have some belief in being able to sense how others may feel, like as if it was a superpower in the way that they had quoted it. And I didn't say I thought it was a superpower, but I mentioned how I'm kind of extra sensitive when it comes to reading others. And then I said, okay, well, I'm the vegan survivalist online on social media. So then I said, I can, show you my profile so you maybe understand what I'm talking about better. And they looked at each other in bewilderment, and they had then said, well, we had made an appointment for you to get a psychiatric evaluation at an emergency room about 40 minutes away from where you live. And I was like, I don't consent to that. I don't understand what I had done, for this to happen. I'm just sitting here in my living room. I just got off the phone with talking to my mother around lunchtime about having to reprioritize my daily routine to be more suitable for my sister's work schedule, so it would not be a problem. For example, I we had discussed earlier the day before how I will, instead wake up at 5:30 in the morning, take my shower, wake her up at 6 o'clock, and then wait in my room until she goes to work. After she's done making her breakfast and using the living room, I would wait in my bedroom, and then after she leaves for work during the day, then I would do what I had to do around the apartment or in the kitchen or whatever, so that she wouldn't have forgotten to bolt the door or lock it. And so, because there was a conflict a few days before that where when I was in the shower, she had left the door unbolted, and maintenance could have walked in, or a neighbor who may have an emergency key may have walked in and had done a prank, and we were uncertain about that. But so it caused some and not only that, but there was a few other evenings where if I were to use the kitchen after she gets home from work, and I would ask her, can I, use the kitchen now? Are you done in there? Can I prepare my food or wash a bowl or a utensil or something like that? And I even had a few. I remember one night calling her up and asking if ahead of time whether or not I can, what when she'll be home, if I have enough time to wash my spoon and utensils or a bowl or whatever, my cooking appliances, and prepare my dinner. And she had said, yeah, I'll be home in 15 minutes. And so I began doing that, and then she would complain about the soap suds being in the sink and stuff like that. So every time I would go into the kitchen when she was home in the evening, even like I would ask her ahead of time, can I use the kitchen? And it would be like she would run in there and turn on the tea kettle, and as if she was like a whole nother person a few times. And I thought maybe she was under some weird hypnosis or something that suggested she should get a CAT scan. But anyways, she was acting a bit odd. And I was trying to tell the police officers that, and then they were like, I was like, oh, can I at least go into my bedroom to, like get my cell phone or my wallet and stuff? And they're like, no, you can't go beyond where you're standing. You have to stay right here, and you can have your sister go in your bedroom and get your belongings or whatever. And I'm like, okay. And I felt it was a bit strange, but I, didn't resist or anything. So they let me walk freely out into the ambulance, and I sat down on. I was able to sit upright and use a regular seatbelt and even make an outgoing call to my mother and to my older brother, and they thought the whole thing was ridiculous, how my sister had reacted or whoever had contacted the town screener, and that it was a requirement according to them, even though now that I look back at my documentation notes on my Pinterest, I have a bookmark on there stating New Jersey rights. And I even told them I was not a danger to myself or anyone else, and I did not consent to go, but I didn't want to resist or anything, so I went along with it. And so, yeah, I contacted my mother and my older brother, and they thought it was really ridiculous. I had them on speakerphone, and the police officer asked for my phone number and my license. So I ended up in a emergency like rehab type facility, and I